Change the slide, please. Thanks, Sadhna, for giving me opportunity to speak up on this topic. Good afternoon, sir, and everyone. This is Kirti Singh, a member of this panel discussion. As Sadhna and Ankita have given us a perspective how language is a determinant of access, now this is my turn to share with you all little bit knowledge what I have acquired regarding language as a symbol of aspirations. First of all, I would like to spread some light upon the general meaning of aspirations and symbol. Aspirations are the desire which we want to achieve, whereas the symbol means a sign which represents something. When we talk about language as a symbol of aspiration, we mean that languages are the sign or mean to achieve our goals. So, in any corner of this world, wherever we live, we cannot sustain or survive without knowing that particular area language. In fact, a lot of brainstorming we all the panelists have done regarding how could be language as a symbol of aspirations. So we have divided this component into 3 points named as social opportunity, educational opportunity, and economic opportunity. Now I'm coming to my point, social opportunity. Not only will language skills boost our job opportunities, it can also give us more opportunities to connect with others and helps in better socialization. Language exists in society. It means of nourishing and developing culture and establishing human relations. Now the first point is multi-party politics. First of all, we should know the meaning of multi-party politics to understand the role of language in it. So, a multi-party politics is a system where multiple political parties take part in national elections. Each party has its own views. A lot of countries that use this system have a coalition government, means many parties are in control and they all work together to make laws. In case if you have noticed, we have a lots of political parties in India, so many political parties, around 2300 plus, that sometimes we might not be able to recognize the names of the parties and we are just like, अच्छा ये भी एक party है India में. Now the question is that why do we have so many political parties? Then the answer is representation to various interests and to maintain the democracy of the nation. You might think that India is an ultra diverse country, like we have multiple languages, belief system, caste system, genders, professions, food choices, social hierarchies, and even economic differences are there in our country. Each of these group of people need a representation in our parliament and assemblies. So political parties are formed based on these differences, means political parties represent special interest groups and deals with multiple issues and represent a whole lot more people at the same time. Now I would like to take some examples of regional parties like Biju Janata Dal, a regional political party in the Indian state of Orissa, Trinamool Congress, which is predominantly active in West Bengal, and Maharashtra Navnirman Sena in Maharashtra for the Marathi population, and the last one I have chosen Dravid Munetra Khargam, regional political party in the state of Tamil Nadu, southern India. So these parties are much more strong in that particular region because of the language. People can easily connect with these parties who belongs to that area. So the language provides these parties opportunity to role in that particular region. Now the next point is literacy. How could be language work as opportunity in literacy? Educational success has anonymous implications, purposes, and social engagements not only in schooling but across the lifespan of an individual. In that sense, we can say early literacy success not only important to the individual, it's also important to the population of a nation. It is not about how children read but how children learn. The role of early age language competence is very crucial. By oral language competence, we mean children's everyday expressive, receptive, talking, and listening skills that encompasses those like vocabulary, syntax, and knowledge of how words get together to express different ideas. Narrative language skills include expressive and receptive domains, and of course, phonological awareness, which develops in preschooling years. And I don't think that a teacher can teach a child who doesn't know language. So, transition of literacy is only possible through the knowledge of language. For example, a teacher wants to make understand his student a mathematical expression. Can you think or imagine it is possible without using language? So, here language plays a vital role in literacy. Now, the next point is business. The way language constructed may influence perceptions. The perception of the employees or associates and will guide their future behaviors. For instance, it has been demonstrated that perception of employees depends on the words of the employers used while assigning task to them. एक प्रोवर्ब है अपने यूपी में, बट आई फील इट्स यूनिवर्सल फेनोमेनन. बोलते हैं ना कि बेटा आपने सही बोला, बात सही थी आपकी, लेकिन जिस तरह से बोला, द वे यू स्पीक, वो सही नहीं था. तो नाउ आई लाइक टू रिफोकस ऑन बिजनेस अगेन. Two different ways to ask the same question implies two different feelings from the employee's point of view. Moreover, when the language used is not the native language of the employees, it could also result in unwanted responses, feelings of being offended, dominated, or even adverse reactions, such as complacency and overconfidence, are the examples of these unwanted responses. Language shapes the way people feel and think. By speaking the mother tongue of your co-workers and associates, and by constructing phrases correctly, you can avoid all unexpected reactions from them. So, here we can say that language provides better opportunities to run business more efficiently. Now, the next point is leadership. Language is arguably the most important resource for exercising more effective leadership. Language is a system of communication. It is the critical link between the created present and uncreated future. It is the glue that blends our reality into results. Like painters have a brush, sculptors have a chisel, surgeons have a scalpel, and conductors have a button, and the leaders have a language. In a way, it is language that makes our reality exist. Attaching language to an event, experience, or circumstances allows it to be interpreted, understood, and shared. For leaders, language is a vehicle for making decisions, resolving disputes, enacting practices, measuring results, and sharing innovation and creativity. Here, I would like to take an example of a personality who is much more popular in India from some years because of his language. Now, most probably you are getting about whom I am talking. Yes, you all are right. This personality, none other but our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi. The way he uses language connect to every single person of our nation. Might be you are trying to deny it, but it's true. He conquer your attention whenever he say like bhaiyo, behno, mitro. We all get engaged with him. So that's the power of language. The language he speaks provide him opportunity to lead the nation's population. Now the next point is vernacular language. The vernacular is different from literary or official language. It is the way people really talk to each other, like how families talk at home. And we can also say specific groups have a vernacular meaning or unique way people in a certain region. Taking an example, like in our classroom, as now we are in a practice called micro teaching. Whenever our professor means observer left the meeting for just a minute only, or we don't lose that opportunity to talk with one another. like if a teacher trainee who is teaching us about triangle and ask, beta, can you watch anything on the board? Then someone will answer like that, sir, मुझे समोसा दिखाई दे रहा है. And suddenly our observer join us. We behave like, sir, there is a triangle with 3 equal sides or anything else. We start describing in a formal way. So vernacular language provides us opportunity to connect with our friends and family members easily and to fulfill our goals. Now the next point is standard language. A standard language is a language variety used by a group of people in their public discourse. Alternatively, varieties become standard by undergoing a process of standardization during which it is organized for description in grammars and dictionaries and encoded in such reference works. It is the language which is used by educated people while writing books, lecturing, and formal conversation also. It is also used in domains of power such as higher education, administration, judiciary, armed forces, and politics. For example, in our classroom, the professors have to teach bilingually so that every student can connect easily with the lecture content. Now the next point is cultural aspects. Language is intrinsic to the expression of culture as a means to communicating values, beliefs, and customs. It has an important social function and fostering feeling of group's identity and solidarity. It is the means by which cultures and its traditions, shared values may be conveyed and preserved. So language provides us a medium to transmit our culture from one generation to another. And that's all from my side. Now I'm taking pause here, and thank you everyone for your sincere listening. Thank you, sir. And now I would like to invite my co-panelist Mr. Pratap Kumar Jaina to give some further explanation in adherence to language as a symbol of aspiration.